Aloha everyone, I'm Dr. Beth Ann. I'm an author, intuitive psychologist, and empath. And I created a series of daily videos to offer perspective, support, guidance, thoughts, and insights to highly sensitive souls. So yesterday we were talking about vulnerability, and I had shared that I felt very vulnerable putting myself out there to begin to make this video series. And we talked about how we have to become bigger than our vulnerabilities. We have to learn to sort of step around other people's judgments and other people's lack of understanding and become our biggest, brightest self anyways, because we are what's at stake here. Our growth is what's at stake here. So today I wanted to continue with a few thoughts on vulnerability and talk about the importance of really being able to ground into love and ground into the truth of who we are as another strategy for overcoming vulnerability. When we know who we are, when we know what we're about in this world, when we know why we're here, we're much better able to stay in our magic, to stay in our own energy, to stay in our own sense of purpose, as opposed to getting pulled by others and affected by others' judgments and distracted by somebody else's perception of who they think we are. I know so many people right now who have challenging situations in their life involving whether it's family members, friends, or somebody in the public sphere who have a perception and a judgment of who that person is that has nothing to do with the truth of who that person is. And that hurts. That's a really hurtful thing. Having been through, I went through a divorce years ago. And it was a time in my life where a lot of people developed opinions and perceptions and judgments about who I was and what that was about for me. And I can tell you that it was really isolating, alienating, and it is probably like one of the number one times where I have felt misunderstood and somewhat villainized. It was a really hurtful time to me. One of the things that I learned from that time that has stayed with me, and I'm going to offer it to you today as a lesson, that when we have lots of people come along beside us and hold our hand, especially when we're doing the big scary thing in life where we're trusting our heart and soul and following the growth, when we have tons of support for that, it might feel good, but it doesn't make us own our choices, it doesn't make us own our truth, and it doesn't make us own our sense of purpose in the way that it does when we have just enough support, but we're doing a lot of it on our own. My experience when people are going through spiritual awakenings and spiritual growth is that they will have some soul tribe come along beside them. And spirit is always with us. We always have unseen support that we don't always know is there. Sometimes we can't feel it, but it is always there. But oftentimes we're not given a parade. We are often not given a bunch of people patting us on the back and validating us and saying, you're so brave and you're so wise and I so look up to you. A lot of times we feel like we're wandering through the wilderness on our own. And I've really learned that that will teach you a lot about the truth of who you are. And that truth is what we can ground into when we are trying to move past our vulnerabilities and grow into an expanded version of self. So what I want to recommend is something really practical. Write your mission statement. Write down some sort of manifesto of who and what you're about in this world according to your current understanding. This can change. This could change a year from now. It can change 5 years from now. You might be at the beginning of your journey and say, I don't even know what you're talking about. That's fine. If you say, I'm a human and I'm here and I'm trying to learn and that's all I know right now, that's totally cool. Just write whatever you know about yourself according to your understanding of yourself and your journey right now. Write it down. Use it as an anchor. Use it as something to tether back to when you feel like you're being pulled by fear of what other people might think, when you feel like vulnerability wants to tell you, like, play small, be little. Use it as a way to say, no, this is what I'm about in this world. This is who I am. I'm about being a light. I'm about being love. I'm about following my truth. I don't know what I'm about, but I know I'm really trying to get there. I'm open to spiritual growth. I'm trying to be a bigger person. I am trying to be kind. You could live a beautiful life if your only goal was, I'm going to be kind to as many people as I can. How's that for a spiritual journey? There's no right or wrong to this. It's not about right or wrong. It is about knowing the truth of who we are and owning that truth and realizing, like when I went through my divorce, my truth really wasn't for other people to understand and validate for me. It was for me to claim, for me to stand strong in. Our deepest truth and our highest truth is for us to understand. And if we can ground into that and ground into the love of that truth and the love of who we are, it makes it so much easier to be bigger than our vulnerabilities and take those next brave steps. I will see everybody tomorrow with more perspectives. We're doing self-acceptance this September, so everything's geared around that. You can also find more of my work on my website, and I'm here to talk to if somebody is interested in spiritual guidance or intuitive mentoring. I offer both of those one-to-one. So aloha, have a beautiful Saturday, and I will see everybody tomorrow.